As I grow older, I am noticing a trend. And the trend I am noticing is the gender wars. The gender wars are an interesting topic. There was a book once written called Might is Right. Very controversial book, but a truthful book nonetheless. The book had a chapter that was about that men should control their women. And even though the phrasing of that is very controversial, the author had some interesting reasoning for that statement. And one of those reasonings was that certain people will want to profiteer from affection and love because it's a powerful emotion that is linked to the eros drive, meaning life, the libidinal life-giving energy. So the first reason for the toxicity of the gender wars is, number one, both sides, it's bad parenting. And I'll make a video on this because it's a very deep topic. Bad parenting is why today's children are very toxic. They lack the empathy, compassion, and kindness to truly connect with another individual and create long-lasting bonds that lead to meaningful and impactful relationships. Bad parenting is basically when a parent doesn't give a child the deep emotional needs that child needs to evolve and grow into a flower, meaning an integrated person. We're seeing fragmented and broken people walking around the world shouting and screaming, preaching a message of dysfunction and destruction as if it is a constructive gospel of prosperity. And it is slowly permeating in all of society, resulting in a decline and degeneracy of toxic people who you cannot tell the difference from a robot. They are the ones and zeros on the phone. Software that happens to move and talk. A second thing is no parenting. Parents abandoning their children. Not giving them love, not touching them with affection. Creating monsters that feed on primal desires of destruction and monstrous indulgence, meaning these motherfuckers are just consuming. They are the living embodiment of Pac-Man, consuming and consuming to the point resources and people go extinct as they assimilate others into their sickness of solipsism, meaning selfishness, that everything revolves around them. Another thing is that no one is taking initiative. No one is simply looking at themselves in the mirror and deciding to heal themselves with the many healing modalities. Probably I'll make a video on this, I'll see. But there are lots of healing modalities. One of them is called cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectic behavioral therapy, because I like these two because they deal with giving you skill sets to control and manage yourself, to self-regulate. A lot of people cannot regulate themselves. They are instinctual, bestial creatures who worship and idealize their desires without any forethought or foreknowledge of the impacts those actions will have on themselves, others, and future generations. They are just programmable, mechanical, biological robots that just want to feed and assimilate others into their desires. Another thing that I've noticed with the gender wars is a culture of victimhood. People want to be victims because it is easy. It is done with no effort. It just comes effortlessly with no need of thought, action, and emotion. You just merely have to exist. Which is what creates the dissent and hatred amongst one another. Because if everyone is a victim, who's gonna get shit done? Lastly, but not least, or let me rather say, remember I spoke of a book called Might is Right. And the author of that spoke about men control your women. The reason he said that was because we are allowing third parties to profiteer. What does that mean? A lot of people are making money from the gender wars. Politicians, divorce courts, social workers, certain types of psychologists, the list goes on. Lawyers, the list goes on. The list goes on. We are allowing people you are not fucking to make decisions about your relationship. People who are not there when things are bad, but they are there to pick up the crumbling pieces that they will soon sell on the open market for their own personal profiteering and benefit and self-interest. This is creating a toxic feedback loop that will create people who are androgynous, meaning they will be sexless, no gender. I do not really know if there is a solution, even though I did pose a solution. But I would like to hear your thoughts on this matter. It is deeply worrying because civilizations that have conducted themselves, if you study history, have gone extinct or captured by stronger civilizations that adhere to the rules of reality.